Okay, continuing on our discussion with the business markets. We've talked about the business buying process, and it's kind of complicated. It's more complex. It's not just like going out and buying a candy bar or something. And now we need to look into the players of the business buying process. So you'll be more prepared if you were to target a business market, what the people involved in the purchasing. First of all, we have the users. If this was a hospital, you were trying to sell something to a hospital, and it's the doctors. The doctors might be the actual users of the product. But there's other people. So maybe it's rubber gloves, the rubber gloves. And it's the doctors that actually use the rubber gloves, so they are the users. But there's other people involved too. It could be the managers, the administration of the hospital, even the purchasing. Purchasing might be looking at different types of rubber gloves and their attributes and things like that. So if you were trying to sell rubber gloves, would you go talk to the doctors? I don't know. Would you go talk to the influencers? Maybe. But then you have another person in a large organization called the deciders. They're the ones that authorize the purchase. So really, who do you talk to if you're trying to sell rubber gloves to the hospital? To make things worse, well then, once you get authorized, then you have the actual buyers or the purchasing department. So this gets kind of complicated. Now, to make things worse, there might be gatekeepers involved. And they might be the most important people of all because they control the information and the flow of information. So the secretary or the receptionist might be your gatekeeper. If you were to call the hospital on a sales call and say, hey, I'd like to talk to the person who buys, rubber gloves, and you're a little bit nasty or your tone of voice doesn't please the gatekeeper, she might just say, well, they're busy today, call back. So she or he is important. So anyway, the point is to see that there's a lot of people involved. There could be a lot of people involved. And who would you have to convince to buy your rubber gloves? One point that was made in the textbook was corporate jets and the furnishings for corporate jets. And according to the textbook, the finding was that the CEO was the user and maybe the board. But the real person who supplied all of the specifications was the spouse of the CEO. So if you're selling a corporate jet, the CEO might be the person to target, but you also got to convince the spouse that this is a nice airplane and it's comfortable and it's going to impress a lot of people. So there you go, the players. This highlights again the complication of targeting the business markets. We have all of the steps in deciding, you want to sell your rubber gloves to the company, all of the analysis specifications that go on, and now you have all the different people. So you could just call this a big hassle, but it's a hassle that if you win, could really pay off. And if you get those straight rebuys going, it'd be a sweet life.